Guys, I think this is going to be the final part of Narcissu for the first game. I think this is going to be it. And I must say, what a journey it's been. Oh, you mean that? And welcome. My name is Yuusha Anime. Welcome to Narcissu. The first game, anyway. The second game is also on this game. If you guys want me to do the second game, please let me know in the comments, as this might be my final episode for the first game. Just in case you guys do want me to play it, because I want to ask you guys, like, you're my subscribers. I want to know from you. So, come on, just leave us a little DM or something like that. You know, just the good stuff. Anyway, we're going to resume in Narcissu. This is my final recording for this week. It's took me too long to do it. I've got my drink of Fanta. In a cup, cigars, Yuusha. Around when the high-flying sun slowly started to drop into shadow. The silver coupe speeding along the tollway. Before long, the Katsuragawa parking area. A short break, a change of pace. Want to stop at the next rest area too? What's wrong? No! She's gonna die, isn't she? See. That probably wasn't unreasonable. She'd been pretty energetic a while back, and that was taxing on patients as sick as we were. Then I'll go buy something for you. I'll be back in a second. I rushed over to the snack stand and picked up a few things no different from the standard convenience store fare. Here, Pocari Sweat and rice balls, potato chips. Her response was the same as ever, but she didn't start eating at all. Under usual circumstances, she'd have torn into the potato chips by now. You okay? She's close to dying, isn't she? Could it be that you're not feeling so well? Uh-oh. Oh no, I see. So she was out. I've been scared of that. Yes, when we escaped from the hospital, it's obvious it was going to happen. To be clear, it wasn't as if we were intentionally leaving meds behind. I hadn't even thought about it up till now. I hadn't even had the senses to think about it. When did you run out? Oh no, so you'll have been out of them for 24 hours pretty soon. Doctor told me that I couldn't go on without my meds for 2 days or so. Maybe she was the same way. And when I thought about it, it had been 8 days already since we'd left the hospital. Given that amount of meds I'd brought with me, I could see the end of the line coming into view. Just what was I supposed to do? Yeah, I know. You don't want to be at home either. Silver coupe in motion once again. Eventually, I got off the tollway at the next exit. I didn't know what was going to change things, but it wasn't as if our staying on the tollway was going to help. So what are we doing then? I headed up into an urban area from the one tollway exit. I looked for a pharmacy attached to a large hospital, not to a small private clinic. Probably it would have been best to just go to the hospital. For any normal patient, that would have been obvious. While we are inhabitants of 7F, the ID bracelets around our wrists were white, not blue. And we were escapees from 7F at that. I circled around the neighbourhood as I held those thoughts in my mind. Probably we'd be able to find what we needed at a pharmacy near a large hospital. Found it! A university hospital at a major intersection, and a couple of pharmacies clustered next to it. I figured that this was as good as it got, and stopped the car in a vacant lot. Hey, give me your medication bag. She handed the bag over to me with a curious look in her face. I looked into that bag and took out the medication list therein. This is just what I needed. Right, I'll be back. She needs to survive. Leaving her in the car, I ran toward the nearby pharmacy. The automatic door slid open and I walked in. I headed directly for the counter. Welcome! A middle-aged man... Oh, welcome! A middle-aged man came to the counter to greet me. Probably a pharmacist given his white coat. Could I have these drugs, please? Pharmacist... Yes, of course, just a moment. With the medication list that I had given him, he retreated into the interior of the pharmacy. Probably this was a pharmacy affiliated with the hospital, not just your standard mom-and-pop outfit. I got my meds dispensed from places just like this back when I was attending outpatients clinics. After all, it was right next to the hospital. So this place should have the meds we needed. Makes sense. Thank you for waiting. Here we are. Pharmacist had come back after a short time. He was holding 2 plastic bags, each of them full of medication bottles. That amount would be fine for now. That'll probably last her for a week or so. And when I took out my wallet from my pocket, the pharmacist... oh, may I see your prescription? Prescription? Yes, as these are prescription medications. Your doctor did give you one, yes? I forgot. You forgot about a freaking prescription? These are no ordinary medications, so I couldn't just waltz in and buy them. Is something the matter? Well, as I stammered at the start, the pharmacist looked on with suspicion. Wait, that's... Then he noticed the white ID badge that on my list. Oh no, run. The letter's inscribed on it. My name, my blood type, and then the name of the hospital. Whip. Oh! The medications that he left on the counter, I swiped them all at once. Oh! Hey, stop right there! He shouted at me from across the counter. That was to my back. I'd already started sprinting. Only 5 meters to the door. My legs were weak. I was wobbly. But I kept running nonetheless. And when I was about to sprint out the slowly opening door of the pharmacy, just then, I'd been caught in a... I broke them! No! Damn! The sense whited out for a second. I'd hit my head on the edge of the automatic door so hard that apparently... Oh, whoops. The glass of the door had shattered. Dizzy, almost syncopal, I forced open the half-closed door with my hands. Then I broke off into a dead sprint. I did not once let those medications go. I was so out of breath that I felt like fainting. Only a few more meters to the car, but it felt much longer. Nobody was giving chase to me, it seemed. But I didn't have the time to be looking behind me anyway. Because if I got caught, then what would happen to her? Would she wait for my return forever alone in that car? I ran for dear life with those feelings at heart. Staggering short of breath, saddened that this was all the strength I had. Thud. Go! I collapsed in the driver's seat and floored the pedals. I was forced to realise that I was even weaker than I was at the pachinko parlour. And when I checked myself in the rearview mirror, there was blood on my forehead. Maybe from a glass shard. Well, hopefully the bleeding would stop soon enough. I applied pressure with a tissue as I drove. Yeah, I'm fine. Don't worry about it, it's nothing. I waved my hand to tell her not to worry as she looked at me with concern. And then I handed over the medication that I tightly clutched in my left hand. Here, take your meds. For now we would be fine. Those meds would last for maybe a week. But what were we going to do when we ran out? I managed to get by pretty well today, but it was obvious that I was losing strength daily. We originally had no plan or destination, and you could not feel any fear of losing something you did not already have. But things were a little different now. A purpose had been born, and so a fear of losing that purpose had also been born. You don't want to lose her, do you? He doesn't want her to die. Suita Junction Kobe Jinko. That was hard to read. Painfully clear day. The empty expanse of the high heavens of winter above us. Back on the expressway. By now we had passed from the Suita Junction onto the Hiroshima Road. Where are we going next? Gobi Junction. Got it. To the Sanyo Expressway. Zora Coupe moving according to her navigation. By now on the roadside distance indicators, every so often the words Awaji Island were appearing. We had already come 900 kilometers since we had escaped from 7F that day. I'd never have believed that we would have made it. But our final destination was not far from us now. And soon we could see a large bridge ahead of us. So this is the Akashi Kakyo Bridge, huh? Pretty incredible, huh? It was hard to suppress a triumphant feeling, as if we could drive across the ocean on its expense. After we'd driven along for a while, there were people stopped at the roadside here and there en route to the bridge. Probably tourists or something, seeing as they were taking pictures and stuff. And just like those people, I stopped the car on the shoulder of the road. Oh, if it's just for a little while, it'd be okay. As far as the eye could see, there were other cars that had done the same. Hey, come on, let's get some fresh air. It's probably an awesome view. She was a little reluctant, but she got out of the car with me anyway. Whoosh! In the midst of a strong cold wind to top the bridge. This is colder than I thought it would be. It was all too much for us, since we had never really gotten out of the car. And in stark contrast to us, there were two people who seemed to be a couple not far from us. Looked like they were taking souvenir photos. Their heavy voices carried all the way over to us. When I looked around these two, I saw lots of families and tourist groups taking photos too. Souvenir photos, huh? Fair enough. One was supposed to take them at places like this. Come to think of it. Yeah, wait for a second. He's going to take a picture of her, isn't it? There was a camera in here somewhere. When I'd inspected the car for the first time around, I saw a cheap disposable camera somewhere, I remembered. Still had a few shots left in it, if memory served. I haven't found the camera, I checked the film indicator. Oh, good. Still 2 shots left. Sorry for the wait, come on. I'll take a picture of you. Yeah, a photo. A photo? Might as well, you know. Why? Oh, come on, don't be like that. Strike a pose or something. And I held the camera toward her as I said this. Come on, look a little happy, won't you? But as if she were embarrassed, even when she turned to me, she had a little sour look in her face and nothing more. It could well have been, even if she looked this way, she was trying her best to smile for me right now. This at heart, I was about to take a picture for her when... Excuse me, could we ask you to take a picture? Yes, of course. 2 people looked like a couple coming toward us holding the camera. Then I'll take the picture now. Please do. They stood close to each other, other happily and flashed brilliant smiles. I centered those 2 in the viewfinder and snapped a photo. Thank you very much. And now we'll take a picture of you 2. Oh, no, you're using this camera, right? Well, I can answer, he'd taken my camera. No, it was more like he plucked it out of my hand. Probably wanted to get it over and done with as soon as possible, which is why he took the camera and ignored our hesitation. Alright, you 2 get closer. At those words, I stepped a little closer to her body. With her usual lack of expression, she helplessly stepped a little closer to me. Shouldn't you be posing a bit more? His meddlesome boyfriend character and his crazy demands. His girlfriend standing aside, looking a little apologetic, and telling myself that I had no other choice. So I put my arm around her shoulder. Oh, the first time I'd ever touched her. The feeling of her childlike clothing and her waist-length hair on my hand. I couldn't see her face now that I was looking straight at the camera. But maybe, just maybe, she's blushing. She was gracing me with that never-before-seen shy, bashful, slightly sour look. Okay, I'm taking the picture now. Their business over, the couple started heading back to their car. And we were doing the same. Girlfriend, huh? Pretty bad misunderstanding, eh? She wants to be your girlfriend. What could it be that we look that way to others? My words spoken lightly and in jest. And enjoying myself for some reason, I kept speaking to her in that tone. What do you, says to me, what do you think? So? And what's with those words? How were those words as usual? She turned back to look at the window. Just as usual, I couldn't see what kind of facial expression she was wearing. But I could tell that she wasn't looking far into the distance. She was turning away because I was making her bashful. January 29th, Sumoto Interchange. The spacious sky above our heads, spreading out into the distance with wintry clarity. Arrival at the Sumoto Interchange, not far from the bridge. Exiting off the expressway back onto the normal highways. So we finally made it. The odometer indicated that we'd come over 900 kilometers ever since that day we'd escaped from 7F. We'd arrived at last at a destination that we hadn't even cared about at the one onset. Then, where do we go from here? South, okay. South, got it. I took the route as per her instructions. But in truth, even I knew where to go at this point. I could see the sign of the tourist information centre from here. He just wanted to keep talking. Without a second thought, I obeyed her navigational instructions. That was the way it had to be. And it could not be any other way. How is it that I came to think that way? I don't know. Narcissu. That's the name of the next chapter, guys. Oh, this is going to be the end, I think. Around when the day was slowly being dyed orange. A sandy beach in winter, nobody in it. Pine groves swaying in the cold winter wind. I stopped the car at this beach and turned over the driver's seat to her. Can your feet reach the clutch pedal?
大丈夫。
I'm teaching her how to drive! I'm teaching her how to drive! Oh! Okay, now shift the gears from neutral to second.
知ってるわよ。
Okay, now do as you will. She stretched out with her might to step on the clutch and grasped at the steering wheel with concentration. I leaned forward in my seat, instructing her as best I could. Good, now gently let up on the clutch. And then, all nervous, she... Uh-oh. Just as I expected, the engine started to knock horribly. Okay, next time, let up on the clutch a little more gently. She did say this confidently enough, but she really didn't have any skill at all. She was trying so hard that she was even pursing her lips. I couldn't help but feel that it was really charming, because usually she had no expression at all on her face. Hey, you almost look like you're hungover.
わかってるわよ。
Oh, the silver coupe now quite noisy courtesy of the crack in its muffler. Almost like a song of lamentation arising from the beach that had no one in it. Around when the sunset faded away into nightfall, around when the sea breeze had changed into a land breeze. Before we knew it, the enormous moon had risen in the night sky. Looks like you've more or less gotten the hang of it. Along with the supply, she smoothly shifted into third gear. Her foot on the clutch was smooth and sure. She had a free run of the entire narrow sandy beach. If you can do this, then you'll probably be able to get a license even without going to driver's school.
そうなの。
Well, take what I say with a grain of salt. It's a pinch of salt, isn't it? After all, I'm not a certified instructor or anything. It wasn't as if we were planning on getting her a license at this late hour, but we both knew that. We had a map, we had our meds, and though it had a broken muffler, we had the silver coupe. But we had no time, no future. And because I knew this, it was all the more painful to me. Well then, I'll give you mine instead. Saying this, I took out my own license from my pocket. This was the license I thought I'd never use. Am I giving it to her? The proof of a normal world that I thought I'd already lost. Here, as a substitute for your license.
もらっても使う時間なさそうよ。
Oh, go ahead and take it. After all, I'm in the same boat. 7F, which no one had ever left alive. High ceilings, windows that opened only 15 centimeters, white ID bracelets. The third time was the end. She was on her second time. I was on my first. So here, congratulations, you're a license holder.
ありがとう。
With a tiny bow, she received the license from me. Now she was a certified driver as well. She could drive any car she wanted and go anywhere. Not just on a coupe, but on a sedan or even a convertible. I was sure that a girl like her could find places to love no matter where she went. After we'd driven around for a bit more, we arrived at our destination, the place where the Narcissus bloomed. This was supposed to be a tourism attraction, but whether it was because it was so distant or whether it was because it was night, there was no one around. And underneath the pitch black curtain of the night, we were waiting in the car for dawn to come.
ねえ、明かりつけないの？
No, because it looks like the battery's almost gone.
そうだね。
Totally dark cabin, the motor turned off. Only the dim panel lights to reflect our warm, self-same profiles. Not a single word exchanged as we waited for dawn inside this car devoid of any other light or sound. And a pile of clothing to be washed in the back seat, thick jeans, sweaters and a few hand towels. We grabbed a bunch of those things and spread them on top of ourselves, since we had no blankets. It's cold, huh? You can come closer if you want. It's okay, so come on over. I look at her, shivering in the passenger seat, and offered her in my empty lap. It'll probably be warmer this way. He's not wrong.
別に。 私は平気よ。
Yoseki, don't get us defeated. She was shivering even as she said this. Our breasts were frosting. She was obviously bluffing.
それともあなたが寒いから来てほしいの？
That's part of it. Well, that's fine too.
じゃあわか
Oh. She squirmed over to where I was, and then diffidently curled up on my lap. See, it's the one this way, right? The windshield frosting over from the cold outside air. We can now see nothing past its white icy overlay. But it would be dawn soon enough. And when the time came, we'd see the white flowers spreading to one side of us. Gradually night gave way to dawn. The rising sun rendered the sky purple and then white. And along with the dawn, so many white flowers spread themselves out before us. Ah, radiant whites and yellows appearing from where they had only been darkness before. Before we knew it, we'd come out of the car and were staring at the scenery. It's incredible. Countless number of Narcissu spreading out as far as the eye could see. The virgin white of the flowers amplified by the morning dew. Sounded like a carpet that had led into the ocean itself. And in the midst of our exchange of words, and our breaths frosting white in the chilly air, we'd come a long way since that day that we saw these same flowers on that boring TV. We'd come all this way despite the fact that we'd no plan or destination. Oh wow, these are exactly the ones. How nice, huh?
厳密に言っても同じ。
That's great. I don't really know what the distinction was. Those absolutely beautiful flowers on TV that day. When compared to those, the ones before our eyes weren't as big or as well shaped. But they were alive here and now in this place.
綺麗。
Beautiful? Unclear, boring, ordinary. But a cold and unrelenting reality that answered to no one. In this world so filled with things that could not be seen, in this world so filled with things that could not be touched, here and now right before my eyes, there lived something that I could see and touch. And right here as well, the shards of all things unseeable were scattered everywhere. January 31st, Awaji Island. The falling snow coming down out of the pure white January sky. That's snow. It'd only been 2 days since, but we were still here. We could not leave. Oh no, are you okay?
多分
Her condition was rapidly worsening. She had tilted her seat back all the way down, and we were mainly staying in one place to let her rest. She'd taken her medications, but they had no effect, and her condition did not improve of one whit. But we were inhabitants of 7F. It was her second time already in the first place, so it's not surprising that something like this might happen. Hey, do you want to go back?
あなた帰りたいの？
Yeah, just a little.
7回。それとも家？
I don't know. What I didn't know was that it would come to this sooner or later, and my fate would not be much different. But it was incredibly tough for me to be able to do nothing but be by her side now. Oh, she's gonna go, isn't she? February 2nd, 2 days later. Rain that did not seem likely to let up. Drops of water falling from the twilight sky. The glistening white Narcissu in the rain, visible from the car window. Hey, you know, I pointed at the white flowers visible in the windshield as I said this. You said that those were Narcissu, right?
ナルシスが
Narcissus. There was another word that I was reminded of. Funny, since I had thought that it was unique up until now. You mean as a narcissist?
もともとが神話だからいろんな説があるんだけどね。
Oh. And she slowly began telling me the story as I looked and listened in admiration.
誰からも愛されるナルシス。妖精のエコーも そんな彼が好きな一人だったの。でも以降は相手と同じ言葉しか話せない。
Repeat the words?
そう。
I don't know this.
だからナルシスに
I really don't know this legend, so I have no idea what this is.
先に彼の口から愛してるって言ってもらわないと、エコーは自分の気持ちを伝えることができないの。
Oh no. She continued her story desolately, with a sorrowful voice. Her eyes looking far into the distance, somewhere just as they had before all of this.
でもそんなこと絶対にありえない。どんなに夢見て憧れても決して叶うことのない。最後にはナルシスに呪いをかけてしまうの。
So that he would fall in love with his own self, with his own reflection in famous waters.
そして自分の姿を見続けたナルシスはいつしか綺麗な花へと姿を変えてしまうの。
That's a very interesting story, actually.
それがこの花、ナルキッソスの語源よ。
She made a little sigh when she finished her talk. I'd also grown sad just by listening to it. Echo, who could never fulfill her wish, she didn't seem all that different from us. So what happened to Echo after
い
that?
ないわ。呪いをかけるときに消えちゃったから。
Am I gonna become the next Narcissu? Disappeared? What meaning was there in that? God damn it. She disappeared without the curse accomplishing anything? She disappeared having caused only pain for
ど
Narcissu?
うかした？
No, but you know, you're different.
Eh?
You asked me yourself some time ago whether I cursed my own fate, the one I couldn't do anything about.
私は諦めているから。
It's gonna be the end really
時
soon,
間
I
が
can
止ま
feel
っ
it.
た私。
I spent so many seasons, so many white overcast skies, without the want or need to converse with anybody.
いつから私は一人なのだろうか。目を閉じても世界は消えない。
Even if I covered my ears, the sound of the rain would not stop. I know all that too well. The bikini swimsuit, the emerald seed, the swimsuit model radiantly on the magazine cover. I didn't think I was jealous of any of that. In my own world of closed eyes, I could go anywhere I wanted, even without a car or a map. Even if these huge scars weren't already constantly reminding me, even if I was the echo of the Narcissu, that was this reality.
決して憧れない。呪わない。
That's what I had decided. Yet my heart was pounding right then. My supposedly stopped time was ticking loudly. Even though I knew that at this late hour the end was coming, and that there was nothing to be done about it.
傷は深ければ深いほどそれに比例して治るのも時間がかかるだし、それならば長い時間をかけてゆっくり離れてしまうと、じゃあ22年も生きた私はどうなるのだろう。
I don't know. Hey, you okay? Before dawn, I had reached over to the passenger seat and was stroking her back. It was 2 days afterwards now, and now even those ineffectual meds were all gone. Ineffectual, oh, but they were better than nothing. With that in mind, thinking to head to a pharmacy, I reached for the keys. And I was about to, she's stopping me. I was about to ignite the engine when
いいから、
she stopped me with her frail voice. But at this rate, you...
どうせもう聞かない。
Well, that might be true, but... It was as she said. I didn't think the same meds would do a thing for her either. It was just too hard for me to sit there and do nothing, even if I knew that. Then let's go somewhere else.
別の場所。
Yeah, someplace that isn't this lonely. Okay, let's decide on our next destination. She's gonna die. Look, anywhere would be fine. So please be my navigator again. I was speaking in a voice so cheerful that even I couldn't believe it. Speaking so brightly all by myself to the girl who was just staring into the distance, even though I knew that it was futile. Yeah, it had been over 2 days. 3 days, really. As she'd not had her meds. I knew that. Hey, so tell me, do you want to go somewhere?
別に
That's right, you like cars. So, want to get on the expressway again?
別に
Then, how many clothes? Let's go buy some. You want some too, right?
別に
What do you mean, not really? With that, she went back to gazing out the window. My dude doesn't want to admit it's time. Oh, she wasn't looking at the Narcissu, but once again into the faraway distances. That oh so rare, sour, bashful expression was no longer even a possibility. Why do you have to be like that? You and your incessant not reallys. Wouldn't it be nice to look straight forward for a bit? I started shouting before, and oh, that was shouting. Strangely, it was all really sad. It should have been real to me, yet my heart ached. The car was in total silence. Outside the window, the flowers of January, the Narcissu, was swaying in the morning twilight before dawn. And there she was, staring at something far, far more distant than these white flowers. The distant sound of the sea waves was the only thing that held dominion here.
前向きになんてなれるわけないじゃないの
What? The darkened car, her sudden quiet voice.
憧れて懸命になって頑張っていつか報われるのならいいけどでも叶わなかった時にはどうすればいいのその時に無理だったねって笑って言えるほど
Her eyes, which had been focused on the far distance, were now gazing straight at me from the passenger seat. This makes me cry. I'm gonna be really mad.
最初から諦めて何も望まずにいてやっぱり無理だったと冷めた目で自分を見ることしかできないのよ
She was crying for the first time. It was usually so hard to get any expression out of her. Yet now her shoulders were heaving a little, and tears were falling from her eyes.
あの時頑張っていたらもしかしたらって自分にとっての最後の言い訳を取っておくしかないのよ最初から無理だと分かっているんだからそれぐらいいいじゃないの
Night sky, visible above the windshield. Damn it. Nothing but the moon showing its face in the sky before dawn. The occasional roar of the sea waves and the sound of her weeping. She may have been fundamentally similar to Echo after all. Able only to say the same single thing over and over. Able to say nothing, wish nothing, and see nothing for herself. Able to do nothing but give up. Her veto of both 7F and her home was probably her first and last act of defiance. Shiraishi construction? This has got to be it. This is the end, guys. The frosted sea of February. Chilling, bone-piercing wind. The occasional rustle of the pine groves in the wind. The peaceful timbre of the sea roar. Hey, this is about all we've got. I handed her a towel that said Shiraishi construction on it. The one we'd used way earlier to sponge ourselves off. Oh yeah. Come on, don't make such a face.
わかった。
She accepted the towel with slight disappointment. Out of the blue, she said that she wanted a swimsuit. But that presented another problem in and of itself. She wanted it here and now, and a bikini on top of that. Having no other course of action, I rummaged through the car. I never found anything other than that white towel. And after I'd waited a little while, she came into view, wearing her favourite skirt, with that towel wrapped around her breasts.
どう？
Even if you ask me that.
変じゃない。
Well, probably you do. I can't really help that, damn it. I mean, you look completely fine. You don't look weird at all.
わかった。
Then she slowly started walking about the beach. The breaking and ebbing waves, her long hair wafting in the cold sea breeze. As if the sky wanted to spite us, it was the beginning of snow little by little. And amidst all of that, she was holding her shoes in her hand, and walking at the water's edge, exultantly, as if she was flying with every step.
ねえ。それっぽく見える？
Yeah, I guess. Both our breasts frosted white in the midwinter cold. And I brought out the disposable camera that had been in the car. The last photo. I had a feeling, but I didn't say it. The old camera from before. One more picture left. Alright, I'm going to take your picture. See? It'll be even more right this way. Saying this, I pointed the camera toward her. Come on, don't get shy me now, okay? The beach. The girl now in the viewfinder of the camera. Whether it is because she was tense or bashful, she had a facial expression that was far more complex than usual. Oh, come on now, won't you strike some kind of pose?
でも
No ifs, ands or buts. Come on. No bikini model stands in stock like that.
わかった。
Looking a little awkward, but still trying with all her heart, she bashfully lowered one hand on her hip and stretched out the other to one high overhead. The arm stretched forth toward the clear winter sky, as if she was grasping for something, as if it were reaching out for something. Was being held straight up into the heavens, with the emerald sea as its backdrop. Okay then, one last thing. Smile. Smile for me, Sesame.
何よ。年下のくせに。
Come on. And saying this, she smiled for me for the first time. That girl, clad in her favourite skirt and that white towel, smiled for the final shot that the camera had. Smiled with the emerald sea as her backdrop. Smiled as if she were an honest-to-God bikini model. Alright, the next. Shall we try something more of an action pose? Happily exuberantly, she splashed around in the water. And even though the camera was not utterly exhausted, I kept photographing her figure. It looks like you've really gotten into the spirit of things.
そんなこと。
Of course you have. Our cheerful dialogue. The snow falling harder and harder as if in spite. And in the midst, the girl smiling brilliantly in the viewfinder of the spent camera. Continuing to remember to smile for me, even as her little body was battered at by the winds. Narcissu.
それじゃあ
Yeah, so I guess it's time. And with that, she began walking toward the sea just like last time.
そういえば免許証。
No, you keep that in commemoration.
わかった。
With that nod, she put it in her pocket. That was the license I had given her. The one that I should never have had the chance to use. And then she unfastened that white final ID bracelet that had been wrapped around her wrist, and presented it to me. Are you giving this to me?
あげる。
I see. In that case, I'll keep it in commemoration. I stuffed the bracelet, whose twin hung on my wrist, into my pocket, and then to the girl who was walking once more toward the sea. Toward her retreating figure, I said my last words. Hey, can I ask you one last question? Do you want to be stopped right now? Oh no, don't do this to me now. No. Or do you want to be pushed toward the sea? She stopped for a moment, the waves were lapping at her feet. Her back remained to the last turn toward me. A strong wind brought in a rolling wave, which crashed against her with chilly fury. And when she at last turned toward me...
どっちだろうね。よくわからないね。
As she said this, she smiled for me one last time, even as the cold waves battered her, even with tears streaming down her face. She still smiled for me. The last time around, she stopped at this, but this time there was no turning back. That's why I think she answered that way.
それじゃあ、さよなら。
Oh, don't do this, no! In this manner did our voyage 960 odd kilometres come to its conclusion. My voyage of 15 days and her voyage of 22 years is finally at an end. She who succeeded in perishing not on 7F or at home. She was one of 35,000 odd people to suicide in 2005. Blood type O, name Sesame, age 20. Oh, don't do this to me! You can't just end it like that! No! That was all that was recorded of her. But I knew better. Oh. The truth was, she loved bikinis. Was better at navigation than any computer. Loved cars, even held a driver's license. She was usually expressionless, and that would not meet your face. And would meet your face, sorry. But every so often, she would grace you with a bashful, sour seeming expression. I'm back in 7F, aren't I? And with the emerald sea as her backdrop, she smiled for me as if she were flying, as if she were delighted, as if she were an honest-to-God bikini model. Yet somehow, there was only a single record of her smile captured in this cheap throwaway camera. Even so, even if it was just one picture, it was proof that we lived. Oh, that's it! Oh! You will not believe how close I was to crying multiple times. I was close. So many bloody times. Oh my god, the soundtrack was getting to me and everything. But she didn't even answer his question. And what happened to the guy? What happened to him? What happened? You can't just do that and not tell me what happened to the guy. Narcissu. God damn it.
眩しかった日の
Oh!
そんな
Oh no! Oh, you fuckers, you make me cry. Okay. 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 Shit. The man tear went. Ah. That's it. It got me. Thank you for downloading the Stage 9 of Volume 24 Narcissu. So that was the first Narcissu game done. Concepts during... Originally the concept as well was which would be better, a game with voices or no voices. Better is a strange way to put it, but ultimately I decided having no voices would be better. It's because I believe the player can imagine endless possibilities using his imagination. Ah, that is true. Then by the same reasoning, should art also be as minimalist as possible? For example, only using monochrome? If we continue this further, it would be better if the plot had nothing to do and so on. In the plot's case, having and not having would be... Having means that we know everything or more than is needed about the circumstances and feelings surrounding the plot, like a novel. Not having... Excuse me. Means being as sparse as possible, like a script or a poem. Please think of it along those lines. I've been thinking about these things for a long time, and this time, it was a chance for me to give them a try. Afterwards. I want to know about afterwards. I wound up using more than I thought I would. Oh, about the art. Initially, the plan was to use just monochrome. Perhaps if I were more like a novelist type writer, it might have turned out that way. But I guess the notion that the art is a part of the text had been ingrained in me. About the voices. Ultimately, I provided voices for the project. They're only there to provide a contrast against the unvoiced version. So I'll be happy to players feel a sense of unease. For example, the differences between those who first played with unvoiced then voiced, and the other way around. Wanted to know the differences in feelings of unease between the two was one of the reasons I prepared both with and without this time. Oh! Yeah, conclusion. That was the original concept behind this work, a way to cut out as much information as possible in the form of voiced art and text, and rely on the reader's unbounded imagination. You've done a great job. You've done a great job. I have no problems with that. I believe that the principle is correct, but in the end, having what's necessary to chase after that ideal may have been a bit beyond me. Before even discussing story and entertainment as a fundamental issue, I felt that the writing style of a novelist was the most suited, as opposed to scriptwriter or poet. Yes, it was, and it worked a charm. If there is no art, then much more textual information is needed. On the flip side, there is very little text, then more art is needed. It's an obvious thing, but I believe that's how things are. Though perhaps if one spent a great amount of time reworking and refining things, it might be different. Yeah, it's true, infinite possibilities. But I can't believe this is back in 2005 though. You've done a great job. In my case, for those reasons, it felt to go without artwork, so I wound up using more art than I had originally envisioned, though I really wanted to use more monochrome. Also, since I had created this with an eye towards film, the fact that the centre of the art could only have 1 or 2 lines of text seemed to also have antithetical this project's... Yeah. Antithetical. Yeah, it's kind of contradictory in a sense. But it's not... It was... I'll admit, it was a slight bit annoying, but you get used to it. Like, when you notice it at first, it's like, why can't it be 3 lines or something like that, like standard? But you kind of get used to it. That's why it doesn't seem possible for me to attempt this. But right now, if some creator or circle reading this would like to try, please do your best, especially novelist type writers. I believe that the principle is definitely correct. In a way, a visual novel that slightly ancient Nintendo systems may actually be the ultimate in virtual realities. Ooh. And the translation, if I remember, I used GP32, didn't I? Or, I don't remember. I really love this, guys. That is the end of Narcissu. God damn, they got me. They got me bloody good in that last one. God damn it. But unfortunately, that does bring the end of Narcissu, the first. But if you want me to play the second, you better let me know, guys, because I may move on to another game. Who knows? But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you did it. I did have a man tier, I'll admit that. So leave a like for that man tier if you shed one. And I'll see you in my next video. So, guys, I will indeed see you next time. That last picture got me. Just barely got me. That last bloody picture. Damn it. Damn it.